Welcome to Gorilla Sports Off Court. I'm your host for today, Liv Moods, and this is presented by Trusted American Mortgage. Trusted American salary-based mortgage consultants want to help you get into a better interest rate and lower your monthly payments. So head to trustedamerican.com to see how they can help you save some money today.
Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome in, everybody, to an episode of Gorilla Sports Off Court. I'm Liv Moods, and we've got lots to talk about as it pertains to the Denver Nuggets. If you missed the game last night, unfortunately, actually, I guess fortunately and unfortunately, the final score was not as bad as it should have been, okay? The Nuggets lost 120-108. Lakers won, 120-108. So the Nuggets did fall to the Lakers on the road. They were without Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, which we know Jamal Murray against the Los Angeles Lakers is just a different breed of human, a different breed of athlete. He is just next level against that team. So I'm sure Lakers fans were feeling pretty excited to know he was not going to be playing in that game. That being said, there was a chance for this Nuggets team to compete without Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. But what we saw was very lackadaisical defensive efforts in the first half, especially in that first quarter. I believe in the first quarter alone, Luka Doncic had 20 or more points. So he was lighting it up fairly quickly and fairly efficiently, especially from the three-point line, which we know that is something the Nuggets have struggled with quite a bit throughout the season, their perimeter defense and their defense as a whole. However, I think the frustrating part about the Denver Nuggets defense is that it's not that they can't play it. It's not that they're not capable. Matter of fact, when they do play it, it's pretty stinking good. What's frustrating about their defense is it's an effort situation. They choose to play it sometimes. They don't choose to play it other times. And what we actually saw against the Golden State Warriors was this Denver Nuggets team rise to the occasion without Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. So much so that I felt like our defense looked better without Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. We know, as much as I love Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray both, and the offensive upside that they bring, Nikola Jokic being the best player in the world, of course, and Jamal Murray getting a little bit hotter and a little bit more consistent. But the defensive side of things for those two guys, as great as they are, is lacking quite a bit. The effort defensively is lacking quite a bit. There's a lot of times you watch Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic just lacking communication and effort on defense. Their feet are standing still. They're kind of jogging back to the other side of the floor to play some defense. They're giving very there's my defense. There's my defensive effort. It's very half-assed, if you will. And just quite frankly, it's not going to be enough for this Denver Nuggets team, especially given where this Western Conference stands right now. The loss to the Lakers actually put the Lakers above the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference. And this is something that we have talked about a lot as it pertains to East versus West. And I have said many, many times that the West is far more entertaining and competitive than the Eastern Conference. And it still holds to be true in this situation here. The Thunder sitting at the top very comfortably, and they have been all season long. They are the number one seed. The Rockets right now on an 8-game win streak. They are now number 2. Still quite a few games behind OKC at 12 and a half games behind. Like I said, OKC has been coasting. They look great. They kind of remind me of the Denver Nuggets back in 2023, where it just felt like the Nuggets could kind of not be stopped. And that's definitely what it feels like with OKC right now. So you've got the Rockets at 2, the Lakers now at 3 because the Nuggets fell short against them last night. And the Nuggets at 4, Grizzlies at 5, Warriors at 6, Clippers, Timberwolves, Kings, Suns, and beyond. I don't really worry about a team like the Clippers all of a sudden shocking us. I don't really worry about a team like the Kings right now as it stands shocking the world. That being said, when you're looking at 2 to 6, that's where it gets a little nerve-wracking for me. The Rockets, the Lakers, the Nuggets, the Grizzlies, the Warriors. That seeding right there to me feels pretty interchangeable. And it really does make a difference come playoff time with who these teams are going to face up against. Just a couple of days ago when the Nuggets were in the 3 seed, or were the 3 seed in the Western Conference, they were going to match up with Golden State. They took down Golden State without Nikola Jokic and without Jamal Murray. So I can kind of take a little bit of comfort in knowing that they'd be okay in that situation. Now, when you're looking at some of these teams that the Nuggets still have to face this year, one of which is the Rockets here pretty soon. You've also got the Grizzlies in April. The Rockets are actually this coming Sunday, so that's going to be a tough one. They're on the road in Houston taking on one of the hottest teams in the NBA right now, if not the hottest, on an 8-game win streak. They've got the Bucks on Wednesday. Hopefully you get Jokic back for that one because Giannis is Giannis and Dame is Dame, and having Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray back would be wonderful. I did hear, and I need to fact check this a little bit more or just find out some more information for you guys, but I did hear that Coach Malone made comments or alluded to the fact that Jamal Murray probably has a better chance at coming back sooner than Nikola Jokic. What I find interesting, and you guys heard me ranting on my show on Tuesday talking about the reporter, the ESPN reporter that made comments about how it's a bad look for the league that Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray sat against the Warriors. No, we've already talked about this, but what's a bad look for the league is the Warriors not being able to hang with the Nuggets without Jamal, without Jokic, and without CB. That's the bad look. But more importantly, this reporter neglected to mention that Jokic has been banged up. Jokic, in the first game against OKC, took a pretty tough fall to his elbow, and then he sat on the bench for a while, had it wrapped up, was icing it. You know, Jokic is the type of player that if he can play, he will. There has been times where he's told Coach Malone, I'm not sitting, I'm playing. Jokic plays a lot, and there's quite a few players in this league that are notable superstars that draw a lot of attention from fans. The fan bases love to watch them, and they've played less games than Nikola Jokic. So if this is a matter of give the fans what they want, guess what? At the end of the day, in the same way that these players don't care about your parlay or your fantasy team or whatever else, at the end of the day, if Jokic is not healthy and not able to play, he's not going to, okay? Because his end goal is to win a championship, to make a deep playoff run. If you bought tickets to a Bulls game on a Monday night to watch Nikola Jokic play and he's not playing, there's probably a good reason for it, okay? Now, this poses the next question. I'm looking at this Nuggets schedule in front of me right now. Trailblazers, Rockets, Bulls, Bucks, Jazz, Timberwolves, Spurs, Warriors, Pacers, Kings, Grizzlies, Rockets. A lot of important teams. When I say that, I mean contender teams for playoff contention. These are important games. They matter, right? Because the seeding in the Western Conference is so tight. Between the 2nd seed and the 6th seed, I'll narrow it down. Between 2nd seed and 5th seed, there is a 2-game difference. That's it. Between the number 2 seed and the number 5 seed in the Western Conference, there is a 2-game difference. So these games do matter that the Denver Nuggets are going to play. And you want Nikola Jokic back out there because you've got a better chance at winning when he is available. That being said, you want Nikola Jokic available when it really, really matters, which is the playoffs. And in so many ways, I kind of view the playoffs as a fresh start for everybody. Of course, seeding matters because it depends on who you're up against. But whoever is meant to be the best team in the NBA can beat anybody. I believe that. In a 7-game series, when you've got 7 opportunities to compete, the best team will win it all, okay? So no matter who the Denver Nuggets face in the playoffs, they should be able to compete regardless of their seeding if they are destined to be the champions again. The Western Conference is also the type of conference where I'm just as scared of the 6th seed as I am of the 1 seed. That's the type of competitive nature that the Western Conference has and the talent that is in this conference. So seeding matters, yes. I don't know if it's a huge priority to the Denver Nuggets in this very moment. I think what should be a huge priority to this Denver Nuggets team in this moment, and what probably is their priority, is their healthy bodies. They have been banged up all season long, and I don't think many people realize just how injured this team has been. Jamal Murray out early with a concussion. Aaron Gordon has missed the majority of the season battling a lingering calf injury. You had Jamal with his ankle as well as the concussion, okay? You've got Jokic with his elbow. Jokic missed time for the birth of his baby boy. You had CB battling some stuff. Julian Strawther just went out with a knee injury. This team has been injured, very, very injured. So resting your guys at this stage of the season, this point in the season, is not necessarily a bad idea. And I'm going to tell you why. I understand fans want to watch Nikola Jokic play. I understand the NBA wants ratings. I get all that. Trust me, I understand that this is a business. But what I also understand is this is also a business for these players. And they have one thing in mind, and that is being healthy, playing basketball, winning games, and winning a championship. And the Nuggets can't do that if Jokic is not healthy. It's that simple. So resting Jokic, in my opinion, is not a bad idea. Now, I think there's a strategic way in which you can do this. And a lot of people will say, yeah, rest him against the Utah Jazz, right? Rest him against the Bulls, rest him against, teams that don't matter. When it comes to this Denver Nuggets team, every game and every opponent matters. And I'm going to tell you why. The Nuggets have developed a system that is pretty successful, and it's give Nikola Jokic the ball. He'll figure it out. As Nuggets fans, we also feel this way. When Nikola Jokic at the 7-minute mark in the fourth quarter enters the game, I usually have a large sigh of relief because I just know in that moment we're going to be all right. I think the coaches feel that way. I think even the players feel that way. Hence why against the Warriors, without Nikola Jokic, that's the most effort collectively and arguably the best team win we've ever seen because you removed Nikola Jokic from the equation. Nikola Jokic is the insurance policy for the Denver Nuggets, and you took him out. So they had to figure out how to handle it themselves, and they did. So in my opinion, it is not a bad idea to give Nikola Jokic some good amount of rest in this last stretch of games, because not only are you preparing him for the playoffs when you need him the most, you're also preparing the surrounding cast around Nikola Jokic to find ways to win without him. There has become too much reliance on Nikola Jokic, and for good reason. I'm not angry at Denver for doing that. If you played with the best player in the world, you'd probably rely on him too. That is very normal. However, I think it is important for the surrounding cast around Jokic to learn how to win without him and kind of get that dog back in them, right? Where you can be down by 15 at halftime, but we just know you've got that dog in you to climb back and find a way to get back in the game. We've seen a pattern with this Nuggets team where the teams that they're able to compete against are not the teams that they'll likely face in the playoffs. If they are destined to be a playoff team, they got to be able to have that dog mentality, rise to the occasion, next man up mentality. And we lack that with Jokic on the floor because Jokic saves them a lot. He is a superhero in so many ways. So it's not a bad idea to rest Jokic for Jokic's sake. It's also not a bad idea to rest Jokic for the Nuggets' sake. We've seen some very valuable minutes from some of our second unit guys, okay? Jalen Pickett, love what we've seen from him this season. Even Hunter Tyson the other night had a couple of moments where I was like, okay, all right. I like that. Zeke Naji, another guy. Jones has been showing some defensive upside in the last couple of games. So you're giving these other guys an opportunity to, one, develop and learn, but also prove that there is some depth to this Nuggets team that can be relied on in a playoff stretch. Because what we saw earlier in the season is a lot of Jokic minutes, a lot of Jamal minutes, a lot of Russ minutes, a lot of CB, which is all good and great, right? Because those are your best players and you want to play them. But the second unit wasn't really able to get any reps in or play valuable minutes. So therefore, we didn't even know what we had from the perspective of what we were capable of in utilizing our bench guys. So we're able to see that more. It seems to be working relatively well for this Nuggets team. Of course, last night, not a super, super great example because they did lose. Like I said, 108-120. The Nuggets ended 108. Lakers ended 120. Is far better than how I thought this game was going to go. Early, I think at one point we were down by 30 points in this game. It may have even gotten more than that, to be honest. There was a couple moments in my brain where I was like, you know what? If there was a forfeit button right now, I'd be pushing it because it just was not. Nothing about that game was leaning in favor of Denver. They just did not show up the way that they needed to. They let Luka get hot very, very quickly. They were turning the ball over like crazy. There was just a very large lack of chemistry and communication on the Nuggets side of things. because we know communication is part of good defense. There was just a lot of miscommunications happening for the Denver Nuggets. And I mean, that is very indicative of the fact that Nikola Jokic in so many ways is your glue guy, right? You need him. You know you need him, but you also know you can win without him because you just took down the Golden State Warriors, who, in my opinion, are a contending team, and you did just fine against them. So what that shows me is in 2 separate nights without Nikola Jokic and without Jamal Murray, you looked like 2 completely different teams. That is an effort thing. That's not a skill thing. You didn't lose your skill overnight, okay? You didn't leave it tucked into bed when you got up and got ready for your job. You chose not to have the same amount of effort. And maybe it's because you didn't have LeBron James on the other side, so you didn't have to worry as much. But hello, Luka Doncic still exists, and he is a Laker now. So to me, there was a large lack of effort early. Then they did that typical Denver Nuggets thing where they had to claw back into the game, and it was too late, and now we're all stressed and just not good, not good. So defense is about effort and communication. We know those 2 things to be true. Perimeter defense, like I've said, I'm going to say it again. And if I have to say it one more time after this, I'm going to freak out, okay? If you're not going to live and die by the 3, that's fine. You run an offense that works for you. It's a very efficient offense, and you're not living and dying by the 3, Nuggets. However, if you are not going to live and die by the 3, you better be able to defend it, period. These players that are shooting lights out, they are in their prime against Denver is not a coincidence, okay? Norman Powell has entered the chat. What the heck happened with that guy? Well, he played Denver, and Denver doesn't do a thing on the perimeter when it comes to defense, so he's in his prime. Yeah, he aged backwards against Denver because he's shooting lights out from 3. It's unbelievable, actually. And it happens in just about every game this Nuggets team faces against teams that live and die by the 3. A very interesting statistic that BK, Brandon Cristal, our very own, shared with me that he got from somebody else. I don't have the credit to give them. One of his pals. This is the record for the Denver Nuggets when they make a certain amount of 3-point shots, okay? Fewer than 12 threes made, the Nuggets are 15 and 14. 12 plus threes made in a game, the Nuggets record is 29 and 11. 13 plus threes made, the Nuggets are 22 and 8. And when the Nuggets make 15 plus threes in a game, they are 15 and 5. So, similar to Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos, when you don't commit to the run game, you put yourself at a disadvantage because the game is evolving in that direction. Whether you agree with it or not, Sean, it's just the way it goes. When you were coaching in New Orleans, being a pass-happy coach worked. But we're right now seeing a pattern where playoff teams have a really solid running back, and that helps them a lot. Similarly, Coach Malone, I understand that living and dying by the 3 is maybe not the method or the offense that you want to run, but everyone around you is doing it. And the proof is in the pudding. When your team makes 15 or more threes, your record is 15 and 5. Why? Because you're getting the best of both worlds. This Nuggets team will continue to be great in the paint and great in transition, but you allow that, or when they focus on 3-point shooting and they let themselves get hot from the 3-point line, no different than any other team, your record's typically better. And this Nuggets team faces teams that are now living and dying by the 3, and they prioritize that offensively, which is why we see these games get so carried away and so out of reach for the Denver Nuggets. Last night, I truly thought the end score was going to be like 20-200. That's how it felt. I know that's so dramatic, but seriously, that's how it felt. First quarter, I was like 3 seconds away. If I didn't have to do a post-game live, I would have been like, doop, turn that TV off. I'm not watching this crap. This is insane. Because there was just this overwhelming lack of effort. So, threes matter. I know Coach Malone does not believe that this Nuggets team is built for volume 3-point shooting, but I disagree with that. And I think you've got a couple of weeks to figure out how to become a team that is good at 3-point shooting. You've got a few weeks to just figure it out. I don't care if you have told yourself you're not good at 3-point shooting. I don't care if you guys don't run that every day in practice. I don't care. figure it out, because we're seeing a pattern here in this day and age of basketball. People shoot the three. They do. And at the end of the day, if Coach Malone sits there and says, you know what? I don't want to shoot the three. I'm not living and dying by the three because we're great in the paint. We're great in transition. Those two things are correct. Yes, you are. But you better defend the perimeter, because other teams are going to live and die by it. And that is when games get out of control. The perimeter defense against the Lakers was not great. Okay. And we see a trend and a pattern quite a bit with the Denver Nuggets and not defending the three, and just how quickly those games get carried away from them. So I don't need this Nuggets team to all of a sudden just start shooting threes every single play, but my goodness, at least learn how to defend it. And I'm not even going to say learn, because you know how. Turn it on. Flip the switch, okay? Effort matters, especially when it comes to defense. Effort and communication are two valuable and very important things when it comes to defense. So the choice is yours, Denver. The choice is yours. That being said, Nikola Jokic resting, in my opinion, is not a bad idea, just given where his body's at right now. Anyone that thinks he's just resting just to rest, you don't watch Denver Nuggets basketball. You don't watch Nikola Jokic, because he absolutely is injured. It's very clear. I saw him. I was watching the game when he fell on his elbow against OKC, and it did not look good. I was pretty worried that he wasn't going to be playing the rest of that game or the following game the next day. Aaron Gordon, we know, has been banged up, so hopefully his body can hang on for dear life, because what we're seeing from him I really like. You know, he had a 38-point performance against Golden State, and last night we got 26 points out of him, 11 rebounds. I mean, Aaron Gordon's doing what he needs to do. And hello, I never thought there would be a day where Aaron Gordon lines up to shoot a three-pointer, and I'm excited about it. Oh my gosh. He used to do that, and I was like, don't you dare. If you shoot that, I swear I'm going to throw my remote through the TV. Now I'm filled with joy. I love it. I love that Aaron Gordon is taking threes, because he's making them and he looks great. Michael Porter Jr., 12 points last night. Peyton Watson, 12 points. Aaron Gordon, like I said, leading scorer for the Denver Nuggets, 26. Russell Westbrook, 12. CB, 10. So we were spreading the wealth around. Jalen Pickett off the bench, 14. Hunter Tyson, 6. Spencer Jones, 9. I mean, a lot to be excited about in terms of the production of this team and being able to still, you know, play their game without Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, which made me happy. But what I don't love is allowing Austin Reeves to score 22, Luka to score 31, Dalton Connect to score 12, Gabe Vincent 12, Jared Vanderbilt 10. I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith, for God's sake, 14. I mean, it's just like, come on. Come on. You got to get some stops. You have to. You got to. So, yeah, the bodies are definitely banged up. They've got a lot of injuries right now. They've been going through it all season long. So it poses the question. I'm going to leave you guys with this. Drop it in the comments section. Let me know in the chat how you guys feel about them very strategically over resting Nikola Jokic to allow the Denver Nuggets to play some ball without Nikola Jokic, but also allow Jokic to get his body right. So let me know your thoughts. This has been another Guerrilla Sports Off Court presented by Trusted American Mortgage. You can head to trustedamerican.com to see how they can help you save some money, getting you a better interest rate, lowering your monthly payments. They're here to help you save some money. Shout out to our friends at Trusted American. Thanks for tuning in. Go Nuggets, and we will see you very, very soon.